Alright, welcome back. Hope you're having a good day. This little ficus tree here has not been having a good day. It's not been having a good several days. I actually recently did a video on it. Probably, it was this spring. I didn't really look it up. Maybe a month and a half ago or something like that. And I had explained that I was trying to get some health back in the tree before I could prune and wire it again. Or I felt like I needed to before I could prune and wire it again. And honestly, I don't know exactly what I did to get that health back. But it was healthy for the video, and I pruned it and wired it, and it's just been kind of downhill since. I only pruned and wired it, so it was out in the sun, tried to move to the shade, got a little worse. And then just about 3 days ago, I kind of was looking at it, just trying to decide what it is I should do with it. And I was like, does this thing even have a grip on the rock anymore? And I went to go see, and the rock just pulled right on out. I mean, it just came out. It was under there. You know, if you go back, I think I have this in a playlist. If not, I'll put the link in the description. But you can see it's been over the rock its whole, basically, life, I guess. And show the other side just while we're kind of getting ready to go here. At this tree, you know, it does have a little sentimental value to me. It was the first, what I got from my first trip to the bonsai nursery here and everything. It's a little clearance tree. You know, just because of how long I've had it, I do want to try to hold on to it. At this point, I will keep it as just an exposed root. You know, the root over rock has that big gap now. And the way it's shaped, I don't think I can make like a normal nabari out of it, so I'll keep some kind of an exposed root. I do, since I pulled that rock out, I have not watered it. It's been like 3 days, and it's still kind of damp and just dank down in here. And I've actually read some stuff about how a very shallow pot sometimes is hard to explain without, you know, just reposting the entire article. But when you have deeper pots, they actually have more of a center of gravity, or a pull of gravity, if you will, and the water drains out a little bit better. And I'm wondering if the combination between the rock not being very porous and just the shape of the whole thing is that this hasn't been draining very well. Early spring in Florida here, super hot, super sunny. So I have been watering pretty much every day, and because the rock has been covering this piece up, I didn't really know that it hasn't been draining because, you know, out here on the corners, it's been just fine and dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull it out, get it into something much deeper, and just let it recover for a while. I'll just get it in a deep bullpen or something, won't even worry about what it looks like or anything, and then just see if I can get it to recover. Hopefully make something of it again. Sometimes when I do see in forums, people post like their sickly tree with wire on it. Sometimes I look at them and I'm just kind of screaming in my head, well, take the wire off. I mean, you know, that's not gonna help anything. But just being that I know that this wire was just put on here, you know, what, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, and the state of the tree, that's not the problem. I just know on this one that is not the problem. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave that on. I do know that this had a little bit of an escape route through the screen on the bottom. So I'll cut that out.
Justin.
It really is still extremely wet. And when I say it's been hot and sunny, since I actually took that rock out and everything, and I have had it in the shade. This little spot on my lanai is kind of my emergency room slash what kind of ICU that I keep for trees. So get that screen out of there. Some healthy roots. Again, I think right now, except for maybe that one right there, I don't even think I'm going to trim any off. I think I'm just going to try to get it into, like I said, something a little bit deeper. and just worry about getting some health built back up into it. I'll take that one off too. Alright, so I'd go with this pretty good sized bulb pan. And a couple of these outside roots still go to the edge there. But I'm not sure I'd want it to really spread out much anyway. I'd like to, you know, keep it something deeper. I don't really want it anything wider now that the rock's gone. I already have quite a bit of substrate in the pot. And I'm definitely not trying to use it as a show pot, so I'm not trying to get it right up to the top. I'd actually like to keep it, kind of leave it in it a little bit. I feel like bulb pans have a nice low center of gravity, and especially if you keep the substrate semi-low in it. And I tried to cover some of the exposed roots that were under the rock just a little bit more. I do feel like though with the depth of it there, much better drainage, and now these roots really should just start going down into that better substrate. And since this was an emergency repot and I'm not really sure how it's going to work or anything, I'm going to go ahead and just hold on to this video for a bit and update you guys when it's recovered. Alright, and here we are, July 31st. That first part of the video was May 11th. Has gained back quite a bit of health here. Pretty happy with the results of how well it's turning out. Sure, I mentioned at the beginning, and in hindsight, I probably tried to put the, you know, root over rock kind of situation there in too shallow a pot too quickly. I'll have to keep that in mind. And also, I think part of my other problem is that you know, I'm very, very familiar with how to work my microcarpas, pretty much my willow leaf, and the benjaminas, and this is just a species, you know, species of ficus all on its own here. Really haven't quite figured this guy out. I definitely, you know, right now I think I figured out that I cannot work it quite as hard as the other trees. So last time I did a update, it was in March, and I put this wire on, and I also put this wire on. I went ahead and just took this off. There's a little bit of evidence of it biting in, very little of this biting in, and I can keep a pretty close eye on that, so I'll just watch that through the rest of the fall and winter. My Edward Scissorhands really wants to take over and kind of clip off some growing tips here, but then I just got to keep in mind I'm trying to get it to build up a bunch more health, so I am just going to allow it to build up a bunch more health. I have noticed with this tree, when I let it go this time of year, eventually these will kind of start getting tall enough to where they start sagging down a little bit. At that point there, I may prune off just enough just to, you know, keep them holding up on their own, but for now I will just allow them to keep this growth. Don't know what I'm going to do in the long run about the exposed roots. You guys should be able to see. So whether I keep the exposed root or not, I don't know, but for now I'll leave it like this for as long as I feel necessary until it builds up its health again. Alright, so this one, like I said, I had originally done an update in March with all of them, and I had some very small, I still have the very small wire on these two branches here, and I had the same size wire on these two branches here. They were super long, and I did see it was cutting in a little bit, so I took that set of wire off and chopped them, and you can see they're rebounding really well. I'm going to put some wire on there like that. I'm also going to take this wire off and go ahead, and I believe what I did with these, I chopped them back to just where I saw I had some life, and it backbudded pretty well. Like I said, this species and its backbudding habits, not really completely figured out yet, but I'll figure it out sooner or later. This one's also over a rock. This one I did myself. That other one is actually the only root over a rock I've ever actually purchased that way. This one I did myself from a cutting. First off, just so I can get this all in the picture a little bit better, and take this tall piece off here. Mainly so that all of the energy doesn't keep going up that way, and also so that when I chop these off here, there's some energy left to go ahead and keep feeding those. And like I said, instead of all the energy going up that way there. And I'll go ahead and get this wire off. And I wouldn't even mind trying to get some back on there, but these are very delicate branches sometimes. I think what I'm going to do is time it out probably about the same. I left these alone for a while, so I'm going to leave these alone for a while too. Coming back. It's a little bud there, but I'd rather leave some strong growth. And then this one here. Alright, I got the wire back on. These two branches here. Do wish these were on opposite sides of the trunk of each other, but I'm going to leave them there, hoping to just keep some some taper built up. Definitely have taper in it. Nothing much from here to here though, so I would like to leave those there. And I did just want to take the chance to point out, it's a good example of it. That other wire that was biting in, you can see was spiraled around that way. So then when I came in with this wire here, I spiraled it opposite. Hopefully I can catch this before it bites in, but it will, it will take hold at least a little, and at least there it's kind of crisscrossing the old wounds there, so you don't want it going into the old, you don't want to wrap it the same way and having the wire going into the same spot again.